Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Business is War podcast. My name is Elliot Foreman, and today we have Stricen Carter from NOLA Sips, from Sweet Things NOLA, and All Things Sweet. What it is she's a entrepreneur. I met her a long time ago. She was very young, but tenacious is an understatement. Creative is an understatement. Effervescent and powerful in her own right is an understatement. This is a young lady that I am super proud to call a client and a friend, and today we welcome her to the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Elliot. How are you?
Sweet Things NOLA. Listen, you got the personality of things sweet. How did you get that to be the name of your organization?
So Sweet Things is very special to me because that's what my granny called us, her sweet things. And to know my granny is to know a granny that is loving, that is kind, that is God-fearing, and that's welcoming everybody's granny. Right. And of course she could cook and she could bake. Just very sweet all around lady, and she taught us a lot. She left a legacy that I'm continuing to build, and I'm just so grateful to be fruit from her tree. She was a sweet thing, so I had the perfect example of a sweet thing. And so to call and name my business Sweet Thing and to embrace my customers the way that my granny embraced us and loved on us. Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's an honor.
Well, let me tell you something. You did something unique in itself already. Number one, you are taking a baton pass by utilizing your heritage in what you do today as a livelihood. That in itself is a monumental task, and I salute you for that. So let's talk about your business itself. Sweet Things it's a bistro. Sweet Things NOLA is a bistro. It's a multi. You have three locations, and you've crossed state lines. The reason I'm building up to this is because I just want people to understand that business is war out here, and we on this podcast talk about the real estate, the tax man. We talk about employees. We talk about marketing and intellectual property. We talk about all those things. But I'm going to drive you through this book that I wrote so that we can discuss how you did it, and you can give my audience some pointers on how to make their own sweet things and live their own legacy. Is that a deal?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So can you cook?
Yes, I could cook.
I know a couple restaurant owners that can't cook.
No, I could cook.
Okay, well, that means that you can probably do every job in your restaurant, right?
I actually do and master every job of my business.
Well, you can't teach it if you can't do it, right?
That's right.
And so I understand this because I sincerely do know how to take care of the business myself, and I can do just about every job in my company. And that makes me able to lead my intellectual property the way that I want to be led. So how do you come up with your recipes?
Number one key to coming up with my recipes is being creative and being original. Originality is key, especially in this time of following and social media. Everybody is following. It's important to be a leader and to be original and to set myself apart. So not only knowing the flavors and knowing how to put the flavors together, it's also important to set myself apart with the creativity that I have. And that's why the word designer is significant when it comes to my Snoballs, because we are designing an experience, unlimited toppings, over the top, design the way you like it for each customer. And I think that's very important. Whether you know what you're doing or don't know what you're doing, it's important to research and study, not only in your city or your state, but around the country, and be inspired. Not copy, but inspired. And that's taking a little bit from here and a little bit from there.
Girl, they
and
call
put
that
it
research,
together.
They call that research and development, to be able to see what somebody else is doing and apply it, to add your own spin to it. That's replication. And it's a form of flattery, but at the same time, I get it. I had the shrimp, what was it, shrimp egg rolls?
The seafood egg rolls.
The seafood egg rolls, and I had the boudin balls, and I don't even like boudin, but that was the first time I can say clearly that I am now not anti-boudin anymore.
Well, those are some chicken boudin balls. So we don't eat pork in my family, but we still Creole, and boudin is our culture. So we had to make a recipe with no pork. So my dad created a chicken recipe, and we sell them in boudin balls, and we sell them as Sweet Things.
Well, good for you. Okay, how did you end up in New Orleans? Now, I understand that you were born in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Your roots are in Louisiana as a state, but you found your way to New Orleans, which is a a drunken city, which means that most people come here and drink the Kool-Aid and they never leave. So you've done just that. So how did you get to New Orleans?
I moved to New Orleans at 17 years old after graduating from Jack Yates High School in Third Ward, Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And I attended Dillard University with dreams of becoming a nurse. New Orleans and Louisiana, period, especially New Orleans, has always been home. We come here several times a year to visit our family, visit cousins and aunties. And I always wanted to come to New Orleans when I graduated. So to be able to attend Dillard University, moved to New Orleans at 17 years old, and not just be a college student, but be a part of what was actually going on in New Orleans and be inspired to start my own business and serve the community here. It's an honor, but I really feel drawn here because of my roots and because of my ancestors. And I am a Creole girl through and through, and I was raised Creole culture, Zydeco music, the Creole dialect.
That's why you was playing Zydeco music today?
Yeah, that's how I was raised. We grew up going to Zydecos.
Okay, all right. So you came here to go to college. When did you make the step to open your own business or start your own hustle? How did it go for you?
Hustling has always been in my blood. So I started hustling from a little girl. Like 8 years old, I was sewing tote bags, selling tote bags. I sold cookies in high school, homemade cookies. They turned into me selling cookie platters to the teachers. And then I started selling tubs of cookie dough. So hustling just always been in my nature. When I came here as a 17-year-old college student, was raised by a single mother, was putting me through a private HBCU, so it's very expensive. And I always went back to what I know. So I know how to cook, I know how to make some drinks, I could do some hair. I know how to make it. I know how to survive. And that's where the entrepreneurship came out of me here in New Orleans. Is trying to survive as a college student here in the city and pay my bills and things like that. And that's when I launched NOLA Sips. And so a lot of people know me as a sidewalk hustler with coolers at the Secondlines and at the games. We were selling out of coolers of NOLA Sips. And we were selling a cocktail.
So for the people that don't know, what is a cooler?
A cooler, like a cooler full
cup.
of ice.
Like
we had a cooler full of ice, and we had NOLA Sips, handcrafted beverages inside of this cooler. And I would drag the cooler around the Secondlines or in the French Quarter, and I would sell my beverages in a pouch inside of a cooler.
Okay, so it's like a big Capri Sun.
Like a big Capri Sun.
Okay, what was in it?
Some good stuff.
Okay, all right. So you done made your own carefully curated blend of beverage.
I did.
And what was it called? It was called a NOLA
Sips. And so I was hustling NOLA Sips as a college student. So college parties, Secondlines. I was outside the Superdome with my NOLA Sips.
Shout out to the mobile bartender selling Capri Sun drinks that were of the cocktail capacity.
So definitely, I created a whole wave back in 2017 of people. It's a thing now. It's a thing. People going out there. Well, at first, it was just, I think, like me and my other friend, Drink by Divas. It was a few other ladies that were out there at the Secondlines selling drinks. And so I started going out there with my setup, following the Secondlines with my drinks. And so now when you go out there, it's so many people out there doing that. But that was my first taste of entrepreneurship here in the city, and the way that I was embraced and the response was so big. NOLA Sips took off. And I thought what I was doing was I could do it, because everybody else at the Secondlines got a trunk full of bottles of liquor and they set up their own bar. But my mama always told me, you can't do what everybody else do.
Okay, so you went with your own proprietary recipes.
NOLA Sips ends up getting so big that the Alcohol and Tobacco Control came up to me, jumped out on me like the Jump Out Boys, and said, look, you need to sign this paper and say that you will never sell liquor again without a liquor license. And so I'm like, but everybody else doing it. But everybody else wasn't me. I was branding myself. Right. Word was getting around so fast, and it was just taking off so much. And so that's when I had to throw the towel in for NOLA Sips just for a little while. And that's how Snoballs came about. So I got the opportunity.
Hold on. Let's stop there.
Okay,
so listen to me. You had growth. You experienced growth, multiplication, great. Made a few money, figured out some profit loss, some sales tactics, marketing, the whole nine. Then here comes regulation knocking on the door. And regulation says, not this way. You pivot and go to a different product, and you still keep the same tenacity and move. They call that resilience, young lady.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, and I'm proud of that because I know a lot of people who would have, tucked their tail and went on about their business. But you went to Snoballs. Now tell me, how did you get to Snoballs, and what exactly is a snowball?
So next to Dillard was this barbershop, this car wash, and they had an attachment to the building that my friend, Dad, Mr. Wade, turned into a snowball stand. So one day I pulled up. I was like 21. I pulled up and Mr. Wade asked, "Do you want to open up the snowball stand?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." And like 2 weeks later, me and Mr. Wade signed a lease, and I opened up the snowball stand. And I signed the paper that I couldn't sell liquor, so I'm like, we're going to do snowballs, and we're going to go all the way with it, and it's a snowball stand on every corner, so mine is going to be the best of the best.
All right.
And we're going to be over the top, and we just not going to have no little regular snowballs. We're going to have designer snowballs. I'm talking about like the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel snowball.
I'm not mad because you already saying, look, I can be out here, but I can't be like everybody else.
Definitely. And so when Sweet Things took off the same way NOLA Sips did, and that's nothing but God. God gave me the vision. God gave me the name, what my granny called me. And during that time, it was a really rough transition period in my life. I had lost my sweet thing, Granny. She had transitioned, and 14 months after Granny transitioned, my grandmother, her daughter, passed away. So I lost two pillars in my life, my grandmother and my great-grandmother, within 14 months of each other. And that's what really, really, at that moment, I dropped out of college. I had 15 hours left. I transferred from Dillard to Suno while I was on my entrepreneur journey selling NOLA Sips. And I dropped out my last semester. I had 15 hours left. I had just got my graduation letter, and I decided to drop out and open up Sweet Things. Such a pivotal moment in my life, and it was a way that God turned my pain into power and fueled me, and it distracted me from grief. So now I bury. It's a healthy thing, and it's an unhealthy thing that I'm finding to be healthy, but I really buried myself in work without realizing.
Hey, I gotta tell you something. That's a formula. That's a recipe. Oh, I got an alternative. Just eat too much, spend too much, sleep too much. No, you decided to put it all into your work, mastering your craft. Good job.
Definitely. So the grief of my grandmother's really fueled me behind this brand, and like you said, the baton was passed to me, and the legacy. Everybody is appointed and anointed. Yes. And I realized that person is me, not just for myself, but for my legacy, for my ancestors, and for generations to come. It's important for me to truly live out what I was taught in every aspect. Being loving, being kind, being responsible, accountability, leadership, and just being a true child of God. And I was always taught about my reputation and how you carry yourself. And so for the past 28 years, I'm 28 years old. I'll be 29 in November. And I can definitely say that I have sacrificed my 20s to build this legacy of Sweet Things in honor of my grandmothers. And for future generations to come.
You're touching me in a whole nother way, because I tell you why. Because one of the benchmarks of my book is it's about balance. And I would rather you use these years where you are young enough, dumb enough, energetic enough to not just try to do the normal thing, which is to try to have a work-life balance, to have family and a whole bunch of other stuff that don't show up on the stat sheet. Girl, you are building a real business.
Definitely.
Multiple locations, putting people to work, putting food out there. Your intellectual property, your vision is walking around on receipt paper and food in people's bellies because you are taking and making the sacrifice with your 20s. And I'm telling you, this is different. I know a lot of business owners, and you have more drive than most of them because they have been beat up by life so much to the point to where they're just like trying to coast a little bit. And I salute you for that.
Thank you. It's a beautiful thing. A lot of it comes with just wisdom and wanting more. And my faith will truly be my foundation. I take no as a not now. God's timing is perfect.
So you gotta back up. You gotta tell me, are you an old soul or did you get this stuff honestly? How did you get to the point to where you're mature enough in real life and real business to where you can make these type of decisions? Because let me tell you something, no will shut most people all the way down.
I would definitely say I've always been titled an old soul since a little girl. I just always wanted more. I've always been very smart, very just ahead of the game. And perspective, I was trained on my perspective, how you look at things. Either you're going to be better or you're going to be bitter. And in a lot of situations, I rise above and choose to be better. Because if you use the energy to be bitter, that energy could be placed somewhere else that could be lifting you higher instead of bringing you down. And that's what negativity do. And I've been through so much. I opened up a restaurant at 24. Why? Because they told me I couldn't sell liquor until I got a liquor license. So I sold enough snowballs to open up a restaurant, get a liquor license with a bar, and named it NOLA Sips. I did that because they told me I couldn't, and I did it. Yeah. Now, the reason NOLA Sips isn't open today is because of the building. I was in a real raggedy building on St. Claude, but God got me out of the lease, and God has shown me so much. And along the way, it's like Dora the Explorer. I just been packing my backpack, and I have these tools that I remember, just experiences.
But you got those tools because you were willing to play the game.
No risk, no reward.
Yeah.
And I go all in.
Yeah.
All in, to the last penny.
Yeah.
I will go all in for what I believe in and what I know God showed me. A lot of the things that I have right now, God showed them to me, and I listen. And I don't focus on the who, the what, the whens, the why. I just know God is going to make a way. And so when you have that level of faith, that time that you spend trying to figure out, how I'm going to do this? Well, God, I know you're going to do it. I'm waiting on when. You start getting excited for the when. You cancel out all them other questions. You like, God, when God do this?
Yes.
When God open up this door? When God make a way? When I'm in the French Quarter? I have notebooks. 5 years ago, I'm writing down what streets I want to be on.
Girl, listen to me.
And
you
where
have
I
the gift
be.
of foresight. You have vision.
Yes, you have to have vision. Without no vision, you can't create a plan. If you don't have no plan, then where are you going? And a lot of times, things ain't going to go as planned. But if you stick to that vision, you're willing to pivot at any point. And I think that's what's really important. Is in business, and it's just not you're not relying on people. You're relying on the systems, and you trust in God. And you always have to be open. A lot of people, y'all have watched me grow up. The New Orleans have watched me grow up from a 17-year-old college student, a 21-year-old sidewalk hustler, a 22-year-old snowball stand owner, a 24-year-old restaurant owner, and now here I am, 28, 3 locations. And my response is different. At first it's, her attitude, she is. But I've always been very passionate by the work that I put in. I don't go out. I don't make no plans on the weekend unless it's a catering. Sometimes I don't sleep and I don't eat. I go all in.
So you're not a part of the club culture in the streets?
Well, that ain't for me. I'm not gonna help nobody else get paid. What you see is me putting my money that I make back into my business and back into my brand. I don't desire to wear or club or any of my money. I want to invest it into my brand because longevity is key. It's one thing to open up a business and start a business, but it's everything to stay in business. And that's my goal. My goal is to stay in business. I don't want to just, I done made a whole lot of money, but I didn't invest it 90% of that money that I've made back into my business to stay in business.
Great for you. That is the biggest words of wisdom ever. Anybody can start the business, but can you sustain the business?
It's important.
So the question becomes, you have this drive, you have a different disposition by which you really feel comfortable putting your head down and doing the work. And the people that are the greatest are the ones that love the journey. They love the day-to-day grind. And so I don't feel like I work a lot. I'm always in the office. I work 7 days a week, if that's the word I want to use is work. And I don't get tired because I have an unlimited amount of energy for doing God's will, doing what I like to do. I see that in you.
Definitely.
So the question now is, let's talk about the business.
Okay.
All right. So listen, when it comes to putting food on a plate, designing the layout of your restaurants, the plates, the dishes, the names, the prices, that's all real work. And most people don't see that. They think they can just scoop a piece of ice cream, stick it in a cup, and tell you about the way. No, that's a Sweet Things scoop with a Sweet Things ice cream scooper in a cup that's branded. And what I'm telling you is that I see so many people, they call it a hamburger. No, it's called the Bourbon Street Burger. Give it some character. It could be the same goddamn hamburger, but give it some character. Where did you learn the marketing side?
The marketing side is totally just inspiration. I see brands and I'm like, God, I want to be like that. I want to look like that. It's uniform. It's crisp. It's a system.
Yeah.
And reading the book, I think it's called The Number One Reasons Why Small Business Fail. After I read that book, it changed my whole entire thought process. And the guy who owned Baldwin Book Company, I texted him one day and I asked him, can you refer me a book? And that was the first book he referred to me. And basically in the book, it talks about how entrepreneurs build businesses around them. John's Pizza Spot. So the whole business is centered around John, and the day that John isn't there, the pizza spot is going down.
Wow.
And so it teaches you about the franchise method, and it uses McDonald's as an example of how they create these systems in simplest form to where the business is relying on the systems and not the people. And that mindset, that perspective is what allowed me to expand to 3 locations, because I'm such a hands-on person. I do all my marketing, I do all of my background, I do all of my decorating. I'm cooking the food, I'm making the snowballs.
You got every hat on in the building.
And I love it. I love it. I love to do it. But it's very important that if I do want to expand to this location in Vegas that God keeps showing me and across the world.
Right. Well, then put it in the universe. You want to go to Las Vegas, huh?
If I want to expand, I definitely have to focus on the systems. And so it's important to the small things. You know, when you walk into these franchise businesses, the small things, the uniform, the way that it look, the color scheme, the signage. You know, I go in these places and I truly be inspired. And I go back home and I'm like, okay, with the budget I have, how can I amplify these small things into my business just to make it look uniform, to set us apart and comb things through. And I think that is key. It's always being inspired, always doing the research, always, and not copying, but so if it's something small, like I went somewhere and I want to advertise my catering more. So I went in this other business and I seen how they had this small little flyer sitting on the table. It's like this little card sitting on the table, and it talks about their catering and what they have. And it has a QR code to scan. And so last night I went home and I started designing one similar for my business so that I can put on the tables, while my customers are eating and they can see it. So small things make a big difference. And it's important to be inspired, recognize those things. And when you tell God, hey, look, I want to be like that, I want to look like that, and you start doing that research and you start applying it, it's a big thing. So even if it's something like, I want to have colorful spoons and straws. That's my thing. Everything is colorful.
Them pink spoons. Why you can't have some spoons?
So that's what it is. It's going to these businesses, looking at the small things, being inspired, and applying it to your brand. Because the way that they got there, they started from something. And then we have to start from something. And I remember going to Dollar Tree and getting a whole bunch of stuff to make a photo shoot, backdrop. Before I could afford hiring a photographer, I was my own photographer. And so it's taking what you have and making the most of it and making it look good.
I'm going to co-author your next book because, girl, let me tell you something. That's real stuff. That's entrepreneurship. And what I'm saying is, you don't get an ink pen. You don't get a plaque.
No.
You don't get a ribbon. You don't get a bow. You don't get a cake.
No.
So entrepreneurs win in silent, but the public sees them, but they win in silent, and they never get their flowers, so to speak. And so one of the reasons that I created this platform is because I want you to know that what you're doing is not easy. You got to be almost crazy to think that you're going to take and put your business out here for somebody with a bad attitude to come have an opinion about it. Just think about that.
Very crazy. Big delusional. Big old delusional.
True. Listen, I mean, like, I loved what I ate today so much, but somebody could possibly have a negative opinion of it because they're a negative person. So how do you deal with the hate?
So that's big. That's really big, Elliot. And thank you for asking that question. And it goes back to knowing who you are and whose you are. And my granny always would say, everything don't deserve a response.
Cool.
And you have to realize that some things only get big as you make it. So if you react to it, that's what it's gonna be. You know, with the energy that you put into it, that's what it's gonna be. So if you don't put no energy into it and you ignore it and you keep going about your business, it doesn't have a way to affect you. But if you harp on it, expound on it, respond to it, you then blew it up, and now it's this big old thing. And I got so much going on, I don't have time for these things.
No, you don't have time for it. But
I don't. So at first, I could speak to my younger self. Me, 21 years old, opening up a snowball stand. I had a response to everything. I promise I did. Don't come over here playing with me. Don't play with my business. Don't play with my employees. What's the problem? The ice is too soft. Is it too cold? Like, come on. And I'm definitely an empath, so I feel energy. I could feel energy before it even walks in the room. And it's so sad that we are our own enemy. It's so many black women. I could feel the hate before they even walk through the thresh of the door.
We got to do better than that.
And it's so sad. It's just sad. And one thing that I result in, so instead of getting mad or responding, I start praying for people, because hurt people. And they like to reflect their insecurities and why they not their best self and why they business not doing this and they don't look like this and all of these, their personal issues. They want to reflect them on you.
Right. And
that's not of God, and that's not fair. So I'm going to pray for you. I pray that your business get better. I pray you have a better day. I pray you have a blessed day. And so all of my responses that I used to have, 28-year-old me with 3 locations, my response is, God bless you.
Yeah.
God bless you. Have a great day. God bless you. Because you can't please everybody.
No, you can't.
And I'm the sweetest person. They have watched me twirl around the shop. Listen, if you want gold, I will go get gold, dig it up, and put it on your snowball. And everybody know that about me, you know, but some people, you just can't please them.
No, you can't.
And you just got to pray for them. And so God bless you is not my response to the hate. The hate, new levels, new devils.
Yeah.
And then the French Quarter, hate is real. They calling the health department. They calling, I just got a drop today that they calling the parking people on me. You know, the hate is real, but you got to know, if you ain't popping, you ain't got no haters.
So listen, if you're not doing anything, then nobody's gonna talk about it.
If you ain't doing nothing, you ain't got no haters, okay?
Yeah.
So the hate is real because I'm shining bright. And I know that, I understand that. And you gotta go heal and work on your devils, okay?
Yeah, and that's so unfortunate. I feel bad about that, because the truth is, we got 99 problems, but somebody hating on me should not be one.
It shouldn't, especially as a young woman. You know, I've come from nothing. I'm so humble. I give all glory to God. When you walk in my business, I'm working. I ain't worried about how I look or how I feel. I'm working. I'm in there mopping. I'm in there sweeping. I'm in there cooking. I'm in there serving my customers. And if you hate on that, I feel sorry for you, because this is hard work. It ain't no day easy. I sacrifice a lot to have what I have. And all I could do is say, baby, go pray, go work a little bit harder. And that time that you spend trying to tear somebody else down is the time that you could spend to lift yourself up. And that's all I have to say.
Listen,
God bless.
I have a saying, just keep watching, because I'm not going to stop. Just like you got some childhood issues, I do too. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I say that is because they say many are called, few are chosen. And so when you find somebody that's got it, you think that they're lucky, but the truth of the matter is they're just working in their favor. I told a young lady today, all you got to do is identify your gift and step into it.
Definitely.
Okay? And it will make room for you, right? And I understood that. And so I think that's very, very, very important that people realize that we got our own fights and we ain't got to worry about somebody else. We ain't got no time for that type of stuff. Now, you've dealt with some success, you've dealt with some failures, some setbacks, some triumphs. I've seen pivot, real estate. How do you identify what a good location looks like for you?
Man, I've been through so much. The first thing I'm checking if I get a location, well, it's a couple things I'm checking. I'm going to check the plumbing.
Okay. So
I'm going
you
to
had
check
plumbing
the
problems?
AC.
You had plumbing problems, AC problems?
Plumbing problems, AC problems, electrical problems,
Jesus.
problems on problems.
Damn.
More problems. Parking problems.
And get this, business is war, so this is all a part of it. Because remember something, where your business lives, it has to be a stable house. Because you can't build it on sand because it'll wash away. And you know what? I hear you. You're saying, Elliot, and that's one of my chapters, that the real estate got to align with the vision. Because you can't take and put too much lipstick on a pig because it ain't going to work.
You cannot. And that's what happened with St. Claude. We built a beautiful restaurant, a beautiful brand, a staple in a building that was literally full of mold. The ceiling was leaking. The plumbing was overflowing. The electrical was dated. The parking was trash. McDonald's was touring all the customers on one side. The other side was like, if it rained, it was a puddle. It was a lot.
And
but
tell me about the landlord. He was a piece of, I don't want to say that, but yeah, right?
Man, we had a landlord. I'm just gonna put it to you like this. The judge let us out of our lease. Whoever the judge was, God bless you, lady. But she looked at me and she said, baby girl, this man is not gonna fix this building. I'm gonna give you until Labor Day, run your business, and get this man his building back, because he is not gonna put nothing into this business. And she let us out of that lease.
Good for her.
She let us out of that lease because she saw what we was going through. So it's important. Location is key. Just like a bottle of water in some places is 99 cents, and a bottle of water in some places is $6. It's important to value yourself and value your brand. And with value comes respect.
That's right.
And I think that is really, really, really important. And that's when I'm able to really, truly see the fruits of my labor in the French Quarter and truly be appreciated, as a young entrepreneur and as a creative. And I really, 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 we have had wonderful, amazing customers in the French Quarter that see me. They see the hard work. They see where we come from. And they appreciate it and embrace it. And they're not worried about the price. And they're not worried about, they're like, oh, that's it? A snowball with a slice of cheesecake? Oh, $16, that's it? Sure. Yeah. And they're really happy and they're excited about it. And that makes me feel good as an entrepreneur. Truly, truly, truly being valued. Yeah. And being valued is happy customers. It's people seeing the small things, even if it's the sprinkles on the ceiling. Yeah. Seeing my picture on the wall and also seeing me in there working. It's a beautiful feeling. Well, dreams do come true.
And listen, I first of all, everything that we look at in this world was once somebody's dream.
Definitely.
And you own your life the way that you want to. Do what you want to do. Long as you ain't hurt nobody and you adding value to the world, then I salute you and keep moving forward. Now, what's next for you?
What's next for me is, so I'm approaching 30. So I'll be 29
Dirty 30.
in November. So I'm what's next for me this last year of 20, I want to embrace working in my business and being there. But for 30, I want to focus on more personal development, more leadership. I want to author books, do podcasts, do speaking, and do more philanthropy work in the community. I want to reach more youth and inspire them to start a snowball stand or follow their dreams.
Yeah.
With whatever you are, with whatever you have and wherever you are in life.
Oh,
I think that's important.
That's
a lot of times we wait for, I'm going to wait till I get this age. I'm going to wait till I have this amount of money. I'm going to wait till I meet this person. And, you know, a lot of times it's right in front of us and we just have to pick up what we have. If it's a rock and a stick, tie it together and make it something.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really the importance. And really just being able to speak more. I've buried myself in work. My work speaks for itself. I want to speak more and people can hear me and quote me and what I have to say as a young adult, a young woman, a young black woman, and an entrepreneur.
Man, own that. Let me tell you something. If you think that you're going to graduate from college and get you a 6-figure job out the gate, to help you with them 6 figures worth of student loans, and you're gonna just live. It don't work like that.
So that was my decision when I dropped out. So at the moment of dropping out, I had just received my graduation letter. I was graduating in counseling with a focus of addictions counseling, and I'm like, okay, I could graduate in May and be looking for a job, or I could open up this snowball stand. And in 2 months, I could be hiring and giving people a job. Okay. And that was the perspective, and it was a no-brainer. Now, my grandmothers that transition, that's not their way. Education was their way. But we're living in a different time now where education it's important, but it's not the key. When they were coming around, education was the key to get them out of the situations.
Of course. But now, education is the way out of poverty.
It is. But now, using the skills, using the resources, and truly building something for ourselves, and taking that time that we spend building up other people's companies, and taking that to build up ourselves and to pour it back into our families. It's such a beautiful thing, and that's the opportunity that I took. And so now I made my mama a boss. She owns her own location in Houston.
Go ahead.
My daddy sells his boudin balls in all of my locations. My cousins and my little sisters, they work at the locations. Along with every summer, we hire youth from the city to teach them about entrepreneurship and train them during the summer at the snowball stands. And that's what it's ultimately about, reaching back, giving those opportunities. And being there for the people. If it weren't for my mom and daddy, it wouldn't be no me.
Well,
so to be able to bless them and to have a family business running with family, it's a beautiful thing.
No, listen, that's kind of dope, because basically what you just said was, look, I didn't fit into a nice box. I made my own box, built my own table, and I'm pulling up chairs for family members and those that I love. All I ask is that the family, they got to do their part too.
Yes, definitely. It took a while for my mom to get in the headspace of an owner. My mom she's such a nurturer, and she's invested so much in me, and she's so used to just being there to help me. And so now I'm like, Mom, I'm here to help you. Let's do this.
That's big, because every generation got that one person, right?
Every generation got that one person.
We need more of those people in every generation to help the family out, because everybody ain't gonna get it. It's rough out here.
It is rough, and it's not easy, and it's faith. A family that prays together stays together, and in these trying times, nothing in this world build faith. Entrepreneurship is the Bible. Like the Bible to entrepreneurship is the Bible. Like, if you want to know how to serve people, how to love people, how to run a business, get in that book. God will teach you. God will show you how to really, truly be a leader. You know what? You make me reevaluate my faith, because I've always been the type of person that I just don't ask for much. I just put my head down and kind of do it. But as I look back, ain't no way in the world I've accomplished what I've accomplished without some help. Yeah, that's true. I'm mad enough to say that I have had some help. Some divine intervention is what I would like to call it. And so it keeps me humble,
Because let me tell you something. No matter how much money I got in the bank, I'm always 30 days and 2 bad decisions away from being bankrupt.
We all are.
We all are. It don't matter
We
how
all
much money you got. You are always 30 days and 2 bad decisions away from absolute calamity. Okay?
We all are.
And so I think that's the angst that keeps me going, and that's why I'm driven, is because you know what? Now I got people that I brought with me on this journey that are 100% relying on me, respectful of me, appreciative of me, and I'm appreciative of them. So I'm a servant leader.
Yes.
I may be the best, but I delegate and I help along the way.
Yes.
And I'm still trying to get to that scale game where you are, where you're just like, man, I can set it and forget it, because I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, because nobody works 7 days a week, 365 like me. Like I'm there. Like most people watching a football game, I don't care about them millionaires on TV.
Yeah, I don't even watch TV. I can't tell you nothing that's going on TV. I'm on social media because social media pays me.
They sure do.
And that's the only tool of marketing that I've ever used. I've never had a marketing budget. I've only marketed on social media. I look forward to buying ads and investing in billboards and different things like that. I look forward to investing in influencers and different content things for my business. But right now, social media has been my number one way that I can afford while expanding my business. And it's been a blessing. And it's important to acknowledge those people, like you said, that have helped you get to the point that you're in. You have to acknowledge those people. You have to thank them, give them their flowers. And while they pushing you, you pushing them, because we going to push each other together.
And you know what? Listen, I want you to hear me out on this, because I think I can give you this. One of the things that I've done over the last 20 years, I've been nonstop, and I don't care. And I'm somewhere today where I didn't think I would be at 20 years ago, but that's how it works, right? Here's the deal. I'm looking at the people in my life saying, you got to do better. You have to do more. Here's how I'm going to help. Because I'm not about to sit up here and be buying new cars and I'm looking for me an airplane next year, and you up in here talking about the Saints game or whatever. I'm not saying that I'm starting to beat people and drag people kicking and screaming, but I'm only saying, if I'm giving you my time and access to me, then we have to continue to grow this together. And eagles, they say they soar alone, but I'm dragging some folks with me. I'm that's my new thing. So just keep that in mind. Now, if I had to ask you for some advice to a young girl at Dillard University that's thinking about starting her own journey, what would you say to her?
I would say to her to literally put on your blinders and dig deep. Go within. Not the outside, not what they say, not what they think, not what they're doing, not what you see, but dig deep into yourself. What you like, envision how you want your life to look, how you want to feel when you wake up, what you want to do every day, and don't stop until you get to that place. Literally put on your blinders, because the outside noise is real. The doubt is real. A lot of things and moves that I make, you're going to see it. Even with my mama. It's like, Mama, remember that spot we saw at French Quarter Fest? Oh, I just signed the lease. I got the keys. We finna move into this spot. Now, if I would have told her before, Mama, I'm going to get that spot. I'm going to meet with the people. She would have, well, how you going to pay for that? Well, how you going to do that? Well, you ain't even, what? And a lot of times, that's discouraging.
But I will say this. I'm going to give you a flip side to that. And you're right. It is discouraging. What she's doing and what many people do is they project their fears on you.
Definitely.
And so you have to take it with a grain of salt, but you got to know why they're doing it. Because that was something that I did. I told somebody that I love dearly that I wanted to write a book. And they told me, what you doing that for? Just like on The Color Purple. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And I'm like, hey, I want to write a book. Well, you don't have the moral authority to do that.
Yeah, so a lot of times it's a level of faith. And a lot of times people aren't willing to take that step of faith and just jump off a cliff and know that God is going to come with a magic rug and float you on across and take you wherever you need to go. And that's the level of faith that I have. And I realize that I have built and really, truly encouraged people to build their faith and on their journey with God through my works. And it's important to not just talk about it and be about it. And so I let my work speak for myself.
And your business.
And a lot of decisions that I make with God, me and God, and we do it together. And when he gives me these visions and he gives me the green light, I know. When I know it's God, it's easy, it's effortless. I'm just walking into it. When it's not of God, it feels like a wrestle. It's chaotic. You know, it's
if you
it's
tell
too
me
much.
you've identified that, I'm telling you, you got the secret sauce.
I would say dig deep into yourself. Trust God. When you hear that voice, know that you know that is God. And don't get distracted by what other people are doing, what other people have to say, and don't get distracted by your reality of what you don't have. Know that you can do all things.
Yes.
Know that God will provide.
Yes.
And know that you will prevail.
Yes.
Know that. No, you have to know that. You have to know it. You have to own it. And you have to be so delusional.
Yes.
In a right kind of way.
Yeah.
Don't be delulu where you know they lying to you, you see they lying to you, you got the facts, and you still believe in the lies. No. I'm talking about delusional in faith to where I have signed buildings and literally the first month's rent and the deposit is every dollar I have to my name.
Wow.
And I'm finna go home and make me a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
And I'm finna cheers to what I've done. You know, I've literally risked it all, and I know that God is gonna provide. I know that God is gonna prevail, and I know that this is my next big thing.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to take those sacrifices, because if it's no risk, it's no reward. And I done been to a point where, man, I want that location so bad, I'm finna go sell my car.
Yeah.
Like, how I'm gonna get there, how I'm gonna get I'll figure it out later. But I know that this is for me. And so you gotta be willing to go all in. You gotta be willing to go all in with God. You gotta be willing to go all in with God. You can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna. No, you gotta go all in with God. If you really trust God, you really got faith, you really gotta be willing to go all in. And
well, on that note, the name of this episode is Risk It All, but Trust God.
it's for sure.
Would you please tell my audience how they can support you and follow you?
Okay, my name is Stricen Carter. You can follow me at Sweet Things NOLA on Instagram, Sweet Things HTX for our Houston location, and Sweet Things is also on TikTok, and I think we have a couple Facebook pages out there. We are located in Mid-City, New Orleans, 4202 South Carrollton. We are located in the French Quarter of New Orleans, 207 North Peters, and we are located in 3rd Ward, Houston, Texas, near the Medical Center in Texas Southern University at 2533 Sophomore Boulevard. And if you go to that Houston location, tell my mama and my nanny that you were sent to be a sweet thing.
There you go. And listen, tell them I sent you there for the boudin balls and the seafood egg rolls, because them things are dope. Listen to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I feel like you've ministered to me today. And I feel like I'm going to risk a little bit more, and I'm going to try to continue to do God's will. And this, again, is the reason why I started this podcast, because you deserve to tell your story and to give hope to other people just like you who may not know that they can do all things through who?
Through Christ, who strengthens them.
Well, listen, on that note, business is war, and we will see you on the other side.